This is the life of a road crew worker, I guess. Especially in Ohio, where you might get rain, snow, sleet, and hail all within 2 hours. It's wonderful. Me all the way, right? All right. I've made a bit of a fool of myself. I've been making plenty of mistakes.
So I knew you weren't going to get it the first time.
Of course not. That would be insane.
I should be looking better than this, I feel like.
People always say about the asphalt industry that it's slow to try new things. And while I've seen contractors be cautious to try new things, I've seen it be just as true on the manufacturing side of the industry. And I mean, I get it. Trying new things is a risk. So that's why I want to shout out the sponsor of today's episode, because they were actually the first. In a conversation I had with this man right here, Bill Ganger from Simline, I tried to explain my idea for the show, but he immediately understood what I was trying to do, and he went to bat at Simline for us. However, in the process of actually figuring out how to make the show and what it was going to be, this first attempt hit a few snags, but we kept at it. And to me, it feels kind of poetic that here at the last episode of season 2 of No Edge Lines, we are back where it all started.
So, on this episode of No Edge Lines, I'm going to be learning how to apply something called VRAM. But before I can do that, I have to get some training, because this is some seriously dangerous stuff. It's hot, up to almost 400 degrees. It'll stick to you. We're here today at the Shelley and Sands Safety and Training Center. I'm gonna get educated, take some classes, get some hands-on time, along with some road crew guys that do this for a living. I'm gonna get the same class, same education that they get, but after that, I can't say anything more.
You just gotta be smart, gotta be careful. Hang up, it's gonna get the hot underneath. Thanks. Change moving. So when we start this thing up in the morning, we wait for the green light on the top to shine. You can hear the pump start to turn. If it turns real easy, then everything behind it is nice and hot. It's a good sign. If it starts to turn really hard, you're gonna wait a little longer. So as I open this up, I'm gonna watch that chain turn. Alright? Sometimes it'll slow down a little bit as it gets some of that material a little bit. Turning, good circulation back to the tank, ready to go to spray bar circulate. So to go to spray bar circulate, I got two handles I gotta throw. One here, one here. When I throw these handles simultaneously, I told you I don't know.
So, not the ideal weather conditions for VRAM application.
It's going nice. So whoever puts the machine away last did a nice job of emptying it out.
So, my knowledge about what this is this much. I know very little, but what I can tell you is this stuff, VRAM, it goes down on a milled out piece of road, and they want to place it on what they call the weak side of the seam. You can never get that weak side quite as dense as the strong side. You get air bubbles and pockets, but this stuff, they lay it down first, and when the hot asphalt goes over top, it draws it up into the pockets, canceling out some of those air voids, and it kind of strengthen that, and you won't get the breakage along the joint from being
incredible Ohio weather that we get. The hot and the cold, it tends to it up, over time. And this is to reduce that effect and make it less likely to break apart where those two things meet.
All right, come with me, guys.
Climb up there with you.
You gotta climb up here with me, brother.
All right, this is not going to look graceful. Okay. That was not very graceful.
I don't want any debris getting into my material. As you can see, there's staples on here. So when I take this apart and open it up, I need to be mindful where that staple goes. Block is all pretty easy.
You do that on purpose?
I do that on purpose.
Okay.
Open another box up for me.
Just glad it's not hailing anymore.
But if you're in operation, man, this is your worst nightmare. This little pebble gets down inside the tank.
You gotta get this bag off here, right?
Nope. Bag stays on.
Just throw the bag in?
Yep. Okay, so this bag is actually part of the formulation, so we want this to melt with it. All right, Randy, we're going to send the first block in. Here we go.
Okay.
You want some music while we're doing this? Amanda?
Now before that goes in there, I just want to say, I'm really good at doing wrong, so is everything right?
Should be.
Because if that goes in there and something goes wrong, Bill, you're not going to blame me.
Nope, I'm not going to blame you.
You guys all heard Bill. I will not be blamed if something goes wrong.
You're good.
All right.
Let it fly. We're flying. Go ahead and do another one, please.
I've made a bit of a fool of myself, but I did that on purpose, truthfully, because there's not really a graceful way to get up into a truck bed. So I just decided to do it in the most ungraceful way possible.
Exciting every time I do it. I'm loving that.
Unwrap one more block and set it on the back.
Some of you might be wondering, where does your heavy equipment come from? I know what you're thinking. The stork flies through the sky and magically delivers with its crane legs a giant piece of equipment, maybe a paver, maybe a roller, descending from the sky right into your yard. But I have news. That's a myth. In fact, most of you will probably get your heavy equipment from somewhere just like this, where you can find some of the latest and greatest pieces of equipment and technology for all of your contractor needs. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into today.
Reindeer boots walk in my sleep.
If I were a new contractor, how do I go about buying a paver? Like, can I drive off the lot with this? Can I, order it and next week it'll be here? Let's pretend.
I don't know.
I'm Mr. New Contractor, and I've got money to burn.
Those don't exist, but okay, now we're in
This
fantasy
is why
land.
this is
we're in fantasy land.
Yeah,
I got
this
it.
is
Okay.
this is the hypothetical here. Not
There you
only
go.
am I a new contractor,
let's say I have rich parents, and
There you
I'm
go.
wanting to get into the asphalt industry,
Sure.
right? Now we're really fantasizing here.
No, that happened. So, so that's actually true.
Okay. How does a guy go about buying one of these new pieces of equipment? What's the beginning of this process? How does that look?
In today's world, they're doing their research online, which is a change from what it used to be. It used to be that each dealer was known to represent certain manufacturers, and that if you wanted to buy a Leeboy, you went to the Leeboy dealer. If you wanted to buy a Simline, you went to the Simline dealer, or a Dynapack, or whatever. They tend to have an idea what they want. They're more educated in terms of models and the company itself with online and social media now. So that process, while it's starting to change, the asphalt world specifically is a slower change because it's more specialized.
Right.
So as a dealer, you know, we have customers coming in that purchase parts, or we ship parts out to them.
How many guys are buying parts and doing their own in-house service versus bringing it here?
If I had to put a number on the top of my head,
Yeah, just
I'd
a
say
guess.
Maybe 30% of them do their own in-house work. Especially in the paving business, they're out making money with the paver and paving, not trying to fix stuff and having a shop.
Yeah.
And having the overhead and all the things that
It's
they
a
have
big-
to have to
it's a
have
big
that.
thing, right?
So we have the overhead and we do all that, but we kind of, you know, we all kind of stay in our lane, so to speak. And
2 decades ago, was it like more guys had a mechanic? Or do you see it trending like, no, people are, to save money, are doing more in-house?
yeah, a few decades ago, guys had more mechanics, but the more sophisticated the machines have gotten from the technology
Yeah.
side and the electronic side, computers and wiring harnesses and DEF systems and all the things that can go wrong in today's equipment, they need to bring it to a dealer.
I mean, these things are money makers, right? So you're going to drop serious cash for a new paver or a new roller. The hope is that you're going to be able to make a return on that investment. The people here at Stevenson, you know, they're here to help make sure that those investments are operating and working in such a way that you're able to deliver on that.
Guys that are buying $200,000-$300,000 machines expect to have factory trained technicians on call to go out and fix the machines when they're down, for us to have the correct parts in stock when they need them to keep them up. Because uptime for the contractor is the most important thing.
So how long have you worked as a mechanic here at Stevenson?
2 years. Tried going to school, didn't really like it.
Yeah, me
Then
neither. I that up.
yeah. You know, I was working, you know, a dead-end job, and I was like, I should probably do something that I'm gonna make a career out of, or at least move up. And then
Somewhere to grow, something to learn.
yeah.
Yeah. What are the common things you see?
On the pavers, especially, it's, you know, it's the chain adjustments, if it gets greased regularly enough, all the small little things, you know, that kind of just get overlooked, especially when you got a job, you know, because those guys make money, you know, turning and burning.
Right.
Gotta go get the next job done.
You're almost like the dentist of the asphalt industry.
Yeah. You know, you get guys that are real good and meticulous about their stuff, you know, especially on the bigger machines that cost a lot more money.
Do you think that really does save them money in the long run by being more meticulous with it?
Yeah, I mean, time is money, and downtime on a machine doesn't make you any money. You're spending money, especially when you got your machine down and sitting in here.
Is the biggest threat to the dealership network Facebook Marketplace?
Our biggest threat is the relationship being lost with that customer.
I mean, the customer is thinking like, I want to beat the house. And there's this theory that like, well, the house is always going to win. But I feel like in this type of relationship, you don't want to have an adversarial one. You want it to be very cooperative.
This business will always remain a relationship business. Even with the technology changes, we still have to develop a relationship.
After my day braving the elements and training on the Simline MA4 with Bill, we stopped at a local bar to have a beer and to grab a bite. Regional foods is like a thing of mine that I'm really fascinated by. But you said you grew up in Ohio.
Columbus, yeah.
Okay,
Born and raised
so
in Columbus. Yeah, my dad owned a pizza shop back in, and he had a campus bar down at Ohio State University for about 10 years, and he had a
way.
pizza joint there, yeah.
what is Columbus style pizza?
Thin crust.
Thin.
Cracker crust. So we're talking really thin
Real
cracker
crunchy.
crust. Pepperoni and onion. Pepperoni, onion, and mushroom.
Onion.
Yeah, pepperoni, onion, mushroom, that's like the staple.
On my way here, I'm driving through the hills.
Right.
And this is very different than the northern part of Ohio where I live. This feels more like Appalachia.
It is the foothills of the Appalachian
Right.
Mountains here.
And a lot of people argue like Ohio's not Appalachia.
No, I disagree.
I disagree as well, but Ohio is like an intersection of Appalachia,
Yep.
Midwest,
Right.
Great Lakes.
Yes.
It's kind of all of these things.
I rode motorcycles down here.
To drive
This road right here, this is the start of 555. Right here, this is the beginning of it, right outside of Lucky's Bar.
So
And
this
have
isn't
been-
your first time here?
Oh, I've been here before, yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about what we learned today.
Sure.
So VRAM, is it mastics?
LJS is longitudinal joint sealant. So basically what we're doing is we are doing an application of LJS.
Oh, I'm really excited about this.
Oh, pizza. Look at that. Oh, that is nice.
Now I'm on another level. We were talking about
Sidetrack.
longitudinal joint sealer and then,
In this game.
all right, I'm gonna stop eating.
I gotta do that again.
Yeah, that's really good pepperoni.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Oh, that looks, dude, this is, I love that this is cut in the most unhinged way.
You're a freaking nightmare for a guy on a diet bringing this in front of me.
I like that the VRAM, it's not mastic,
Yeah.
it's not seal coat, it's a mysterious third thing.
VRAM is now being explored in 20 states, areas where there's freeze-thaw. So when they put the seam together between the two mats of asphalt on the top course, it's very difficult to get compaction where that edge of that asphalt is. So you
Right.
have that weak edge. So those voids get filled with water, and then they basically break open and pop. Anybody in America has driven down any highway and you watch the center line where the white stripe is, and you see where it's breaking apart, and it's got little tiny micro potholes opening up for miles and miles. And they'll seal it, but it's too late because it's already
It's trying to put a
failed.
Band-Aid over where it's already gone wrong.
Right. As states start to see how we can save taxpayer money, then we see these early adopters getting into it, and they're making good money for their company.
I guess what I'm trying to needle you about,
Hmm?
the attitude in the contractors that you meet, is it like they see a new thing and they're open-minded to it?
Oh yeah. Looking to it as a contractor, there's a definite difference between those that are looking forward and those that are maintaining.
Gotcha.
The ones that are maintaining, they're doing a fine job. Again, they're feeding families
Yeah,
too.
they're making their business.
They're making their business and things are easy, but the ones that are looking forward, the ones that are adopting new things, finding new technologies, the electric paver that we saw at Pavex,
Sure.
stuff like that.
3D milling, data capture, all this stuff.
Exactly. So those people are moving forward, and those people are the ones that are helping feed innovation. Without that, then we start to fall backwards. So here's the thing about training a crew like this. If you show up with a nice collar shirt and nice slacks and a fancy pair of shoes, they're gonna look at you that way. I show up ready to work, and I become a part of their crew. I'm throwing blocks, I'm running the machine with them, I'm getting dirty. I do those things and I earn their trust.
You know, lately, I've been feeling nostalgic. And that's something I try to avoid, actually. Because sometimes when you're feeling nostalgic, you're not remembering some of the difficulty. You're looking back on something with a shine. You're only thinking about the best bits. And that's a lot like making a show. We go out on the job sites for hours, days, and it's hard. And it's doubly hard when you're going out there trying to do things you have no business trying to do.
You ready?
And then we take all that footage and we cut it down to only the best parts, or at least the parts we think are best. But there's so much stuff that we couldn't show you. And I want to remember it all. I want to remember every single person who helped me along the way. I want to say thank you to the teachers, to the laborers, the managers, and everybody else who's taken the time to share with me a piece of this world. The thing I'm most looking forward to is what unexpected things happen next.
That truck just snuck up on me.
Going, look, Doug, okay, I just got off the plane.
Don't stand that close to me.
I know,
You're freaking me out. This line is mad crooked.